saying?
Yes, I you give thanks for life, you know.
We are here again. Ballhead and the Dread podcast have to let everyone tune in from those times till now. No, we truly appreciate you listening, supporting, commenting, and sharing. Have to remind you, make sure you check out brand new video from the one Far Eye as the water flows. Step of Sound. Link in the description. Also, make sure you check out the full EP, Disrupting the Status Quo. Also, make sure you tune in I Never Knew Radio every Sunday, WLOI.org, with yours truly, the ball hit spinning roots rock reggae. We have a special guest next week you don't want to miss. All right, what we're reasoning about today?
Well, today we are talk about the peer pressure way. We know say a whole heap of one go through this when them in a relationship, and especially the man them go through this to the most. So we are say stop make your partner pressure into buying things where you don't need. Cause we know say a most on one end. It happen two side, you know. But we know say mostly it happen the peer pressure come down on the men them because of the consumption habits where the woman them normally have and them want to satisfy that. So we got reason about it.
No, big time. And before we start, I want to recommend this reasoning from Honorable Louis Farrakhan. It's from the 80s. It's not the 70s, it's from the 80s. I'm not sure. You know how YouTube is like sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there, but it's on marriage about 2 hours long. And he says a bunch of brilliant things. Two things I'll mention. First thing is that you have to give your marriage at least 3 years. He said don't leave within the first 3 years, as long as like no abuse or nothing crazy. Don't leave between the first 3 years. But the second part is what we'll be talking about in regards to how wrong it is to pressure your spouse, your partner, to spend money you know they don't have. You know, and a lot of people fall under that pressure. Now, I will say this. I know Far Right. I know Far Right stated that the men feel the pressure more than the women, right? But I don't know it come like the table turning right now because in many households, especially in our community, the woman is the one that makes more than the man. That's just the reality of the situation. It seems like the men pressure the women to spend money on things. I try to laugh, yeah. Look like men out here pressuring the women to spend money that they don't have. But on a serious note, serious thing though, don't let nobody pressure you to spend what you don't have. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a terrible thing. You see it in relationships. You see it in friendships. I don't even call it friendships. You see it with associations, in society in general, but definitely in the household. And I think that I've learned this, right? So I just put myself out there. I learned how to communicate in my marriage. You know, I wasn't the best communicator when it came to those type of vibes. So I did learn. And I think people need to, there are certain things you need to speak about prior to getting married. I think you need to like go over, you know, history of mental illness, sexual abuse, how you deal with children, goals that you have, how you want to live, spiritual practices, all those vibes, right? But more than anything, you need to talk about finances. I hear too many times with people coming into relationships with all type of crazy baggage. Far right. I mean, you got people coming in there with student loans that they didn't declare. They didn't clearly state. They said they had student loans, but they didn't tell you they had six figures in student loans. And when you guys unite, all of a sudden now they want assistance with these student loans. Um, they don't tell you about their spending habits. They don't tell you about their debt. I think prior to getting married, like I don't want to hear it. Like I literally want to see your financial statements to see what that credit card is saying. Because when you link up now, I don't know what it is with this marriage thing. For it, well, once you get married, all of a sudden now, their bills become your bills. But back to this spending thing now, it's just like I don't even say there's a trend. It's just this thing going on where people are pressuring their partner to spend money they know this person doesn't have. Now, hopefully, there's enough communication in the household that at least you know what the other person is making, right? And if you're aware what the other person is making, it's wrong. Why would you put your spouse under your partner's spouse, whatever the term we're using right now, under financial pressure for what? You get what I'm saying? If you were the real one, I know in my house, like I don't get paid every week. You get what I'm saying? So, and I don't get the consistent amount of money. But my wife is aware of that. So when things running, obviously we'll do more, and when things not running, we just tone down. But it's not the same spending going on when the money not coming in. It's not that type of program. And I just think we need to have that mature approach in regards to the finances, because a lot of the stress, I'll say the number one, You know, the number one stress within relationships, marriages, long-term relationships is finances. It always seemed like some conflict. Like you got one person that's just out there throwing money in the sky, and you got the next person that's trying to be responsible. Sometimes you got two people throwing money up in the sky. It's a recipe for disaster. Because far, I want to tell you, a lot of people make enough, far. A lot of people make enough, but they put themselves under financial pressures based on their decision. It seems like sometimes the men are under a lot of pressure to impress their peers. Same way the women under a lot of pressure to impress their peers. And I want to clarify a myth that's circulating in regards to women are bigger consumers than men. They're both consumers. They consume different things, far. There's different types of consumption. So if she go buys a bag and you go popping bottles, y'all still wasting money. If she got 30 blouses and skirts and you got 30 pair of shoes, it's yin and yang. It's the same vibe going on. I think men are too caught up with this consumption. They're too caught up with the consumption, and they're too caught up with this constant competition with their peers. I want to talk about this vacation thing later, Fire, because it's the next thing that's flopping. The next thing that's flopping out the earth right now. This vacation, this group vacation. I had to go tell a brethren. He said it's people going on vacation, right? And you know the money not there. So I said, Fire, just tell me you can't go. What is the problem with just saying no? For you to go put that on a credit card right now, that's gonna be 35, $4 grand, right? When you gonna pay that off? You have no money in the bank. Or you gonna send $20 every month for the rest of your life? Then when you send the $20, something else gonna come up. That's the hustle. That's what y'all not looking at. This credit card thing is foolishness because you gonna lie to yourself and say, I'm gonna put it on a card, I'm gonna pay it off. If you don't have money in your bank account, right? And remember, you're on fixed income, meaning you're not gonna get any large sum of money. You're gonna get the same amount of money every week. Meaning, if you have the same expenses, you're gonna be in the same boat behind. Then something else is gonna come up, and you're not gonna have money for that. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna put it on a card so it's more stuff. For what? That's the wildest thing. For what? People under peer stress. Some people under stress out here today dizzy fire. They can't talk to you. Yeah. And it could be avoided. Certain things. I'm all about avoiding certain stresses that can be avoided. And I think some of the financial things are one of the things that definitely can be avoided. Stop competing with your peers. Listen, depending on your social circle, everybody's broke, bro. That's just the reality. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't know what fantasy you're living in. You're making 50, 60 grand, 70 grand, 80 grand. That's not no balling out salary after taxes. If you're making 80 grand, what you going home with? 8, 16, 24. God forbid you got health insurance and other things. So yeah, 50 grand. 50 divided by 12 fight, that's not where it's at. So it's like this masquerade party that everybody's wasting their time with. And if you're a partner, right, or don't pressure your spouse to go. If you know, listen, if you know your spouse is only getting, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000 every week, every 2 weeks, fire, you better don't ask this person to spend more out. So what's the point of that? Then they want to give them a vibes when they don't want to spend money. I know you heard that one, fire, right? They want to give them vibes and attitude when they want to spend money.
Yeah, we're going. At the part that me want to emphasize span to, because era take place now. You see, is people don't understand the weight of stress, And that's the thing, because not for the man them, from where me see observation and where people personal testimony where ones tell me directly. So not for the consumption them what them do to try to meet the needs of the happiness of them partner. Because them no want to be stressed out if them don't do it. See, overstand me and say some man take on financial stress in order to avoid the stress of a back and forth between him and him woman. And him no overstand say it's like 6 or 1/2 dozen of the other, the same thing. And sometimes even more, because financial stress here with name debt it name, So don't drag it down already, And them think that the man them now overstand. So you see, the sooner ones can overstand, say it not really make a difference. So at some given time, you have to end up have a conversation, if you get burnt out, because for one, if you have a back and forth with your partner so often that it become the norm, you have to discuss it. Or if you go outside of your financial reach to try to please your partner and you can't keep up with it no more, at some given time it'll catch up to you. So either which way, a communication would have been the ultimate thing. We solve that. And then I mentioned something crucial now. The circles them where everybody in. And then even beyond the circles, because the circles that we're talking about is not just a physical circle. It's also that also entail the type of audience we ever get categorized in a per se. So anybody who watch the same things them, who do the same things them, would consider them to be your circle, even if you don't know them, because that will influence the way how you behave and the way how you act. So you have a particular TV type of relationship where everybody try to meet with, say this partner have to just go all out because everything have to be about the happiness of your partner, without even considering your happiness, especially if you're a man. We'll make sure I put that out there, that especially if you're a man, your happiness don't really matter for the most part when it comes to a relationship, because especially when you deal with the mad love of society set it, because you hear them tell us a happy wife, happy life. So you say them say happy wife, happy life, but that contribute to whole for the financial stress them where financial burden we're going on upon the man. Because the man most time knows say, all right, him have to maintain that because him wife have happy and him wife have happy because him can buy these things. Certain different milestone come. Every different milestone come right now, a man have to buy a gift. A man have to buy a gift. If the milestone come and not buying a gift, just know say him not see to she not see him as worthy enough. And because him no want to not be seen as worthy enough, then him will end up say make sure say him always do that.
All right, I want to jump in 2 seconds. I want to touch on this gift thing, right? And came to this conclusion years ago. And thankfully, my lady don't have no issue with it. But me buying some cheap thing made in China for as some card is not no demonstration of my love and my commitment to you. Me being here physically, time is my most valuable asset. So I'm spending time with you. Don't get more valuable than that. So that's why I don't really pre this gift thing. It's not even like, what's wild about the gift? It's not even like the person created the gift. You know what I'm saying? Like say, yo, I spent time and I spent days or I spent weeks to create this. I put time and effort into this because I love you and I gave it to you. Now, if I just bought something or I put it on my card just to get it so I don't hear nothing from you. It's madness, yo. It's madness when you really think about it. You would rather some shoe stitched up in China by some little kid or my time us building and chilling.
Which time for you? Time not enough. That means if a time alone I got talk about right now, that them thing they enough. That is just the basic of the thing. Cause the time thing, you can't even use that right now and tell somebody that. It have to be somebody where they're on a different type of heights and really a pre way I say, but the average person right now, you can't tell them about time and have no value, because I remember say the value where most people put on thing, it have to be something where physical and them can hold on pan, and then when them can hold on pan a physical thing and them can say, you are the person might get it. Like for instance, most of the gift them to where even gonna take place, bam. Yeah, I think that people don't even like, but the status symbols. And the status symbols, one them really bring up the spending, even more spending pressure more. For instance, even say flowers then. Yeah, I could bring a bouquet of flowers because that is the supposed romantic thing where you're supposed to do, but then the person not even know if you care for your flowers, say just buy the flowers and it just dry up all next week. You understand what I mean? I say somebody have a full functioning phone, but a new version did come out. And then recently get the phone and now you have to tap it to say, yo, look, me get the latest. Because when you give somebody the latest edition of something where I've supposedly the brand name thing, it have more value. And then that now, the value they translate to love. I saw it really go according to how everybody pre-it,
A serious thing. And I have to keep things in perspective in regards to how my household runs is much different from others, And it's just that anyone listening know, it may be a hard conversation to have with your loved one, but you may want to reconsider what you consider a gift. You may want to reconsider in regards to the expectation of spending. because contrary to popular belief, the average person suffering financially, they don't have a dollar in their name, like $1, right? They don't. Bank account dry. Go to work every day, working with the credit cards, and it's just a vibe. Now, if you're comfortable with that and you're content with that, this message is not for you. But if you do want to avoid that and get a little financial cushion, you have to make different decisions, and these are one of the things you're gonna have to nip in the butt. As far as stated, all this every I guess milestone is the term, and buying stuff it can't work far right. I just think to start with, people need to have conversations about finances because I grew up I grew up around people who like, they wouldn't even look at their credit card statement. Like they wouldn't even acknowledge it for like straight denial. It's like people who don't go to the doctor. Like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather not know. Yeah, you're not gonna know until you find yourself on the floor passed out one day. And if that's the type of person you dealing with and you not on that vibe, you may have to jump ship. Sorry to say, it's just the reality of it. Because that's not gonna work. I never see it work where one person is financially responsible with another person that's financially irresponsible. I never saw it work long term. Because that frustration of them constantly just doing whatever with their money. And the confusion thing is this, I don't want to sway the argument for it, but I'm confused in regards to, you mentioned earlier in regards to traditional rules in our society. But I'm confused. It seems like people still have expectations for traditional rules when it comes for like spending. But for other things, there's no traditional rule. It's like the man's not the head of the household, but when it comes to bills, he's the head of the household if he can pay. Because a lot of people talk, but when you look into the thing, for those with a man that earns money, they are paying majority of the bills to this day with all the female empowerment and everything that's going on. Yes, I know a lot of people aren't in that situation, but a lot of people are. So I'm still confused. I'm trying to figure out like this role thing. It fully hasn't transitioned yet because it seems like they want traditional roles when it's beneficial to them, specifically financially. So as I said, I don't want to delve too deep on that because I got to analyze that situation more before I'm able to speak on it publicly. But it just seems that vibes. But yeah, going back to this thing here, man, and this also ties into friends too. Not only your, I know we are talking about your partner, your spouse, but also your peers. Don't let anyone pressure you to spend the money you don't have. And I'll say it again. Don't let anyone pressure you into spending money you don't have. And if you can't be around people without certain things, and you just don't need to be around them. You can't be out here running behind people trying to present something that's not there. You know your lane. Hey, if you make 50 grand, yeah, you need to live below a 50 grand life. If you make 100 grand, you need to live below 100 grand life. Remember what I said for? I never said live 100 grand life. I said live below 100 grand life. Because we know how it works. If a person makes 50, they want to present themselves as if they're making 80 or 100. If a person make 100, they want to present themselves as they making 150, 170. That's where you're running their problems. And the wickedest thing, when a person get their first raise, they don't understand. Listen, I'm gonna give you some game. If you come into money, maintain it. Don't change your lifestyle. I'll say it again. If things start going real good for you, start making money, don't change your lifestyle. Maintain the same lifestyle. God forbid if things go awry, you can still maintain your lifestyle. Because this lifestyle is much easier to maintain than this lifestyle. I don't know the lifespan of this lifestyle. I don't know the lifespan of you making this amount of money. But if this is a comfortable lifestyle, even though you're making this money, maintain this money. So if you lose this, there's no pressure. There's no running around because you can still maintain that lifestyle. Stability. Now I know, you won't be able to compete with your friends in whatever competition that they're doing, but you will have peace of mind. You will be able to sleep at night. You will be able to pay your bills, and you have some money saved, and you have options. You won't be forced to do stuff you necessarily don't want to do for money because you have that cushion. Because all you did was make a mature financial decision, and also you were able to control your insecurity. I think we mentioned this on the last podcast. The ignorance and insecurity fight, guaranteed to keep your pockets empty. Yeah. Guaranteed. Don't let your peers pressure you into stuff. I know this trip is a big thing with the young people. Everybody on this trip. If you have to pass on the trip, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Everybody talk about one life to live broke, and they ain't dying no time soon. So that, you know what I'm saying? That don't add up. Where am I lying?
Well, say a reality because at that more and touch pan and expound pan to because here we go on. And the yellow thing I cause it for true, man. The whole yellow thing I cause it for true for you. Say, you see, here what the yellow do. It alright, two-side tweet, a two-side tweet, and here we go on. Most of the people them only pre one side, right? So the one side of them are praise. All right, you only live once, so here we go on. You have to full joy that to the maximum you have to do. All you can do in this lifetime because you're the guarantee the next lifetime, don't it? So at the part, they know everybody's stopping, but there's a limitation to the type of thought process there. But most people don't overstand. And then where the miscommunication go on in the whole thing there is when economics come into play now, because enough people never really understand even what economics is. And the part of economics I talk about in particular is the one where them say opportunity cost. So it's a opportunity cost, people get it twisted now because it's memories over sustenance, right? So they must say memories over sustenance. If me can sustain the lifestyle that me I live, as what I used to live below, me I make 80, me I spend 60, and then me can save 20 or whatever it is. That are the sustenance part of it. But the memories part of it now, the trip and all of these different things. So when the opportunity costs come, you have two choices within the opportunity cost. When me I go pre, the yellow only a focus on the memories them where you gonna make all of these things, because when they ask nobody about the trip them and I want to say, well, we have one life to live, so we have to make the memories them. But in my mid say them can't go sustain it from an adequate standpoint. And at this I know it become a limited type of thought process where most overstand say, fire, it don't make no sense. Stress I want silent murder right now because all of these different things where the people them say go on. I wonder if them know say the stress where go on, it's related to enough of them spending habits, yeah. And at that, this and now the opportunity cost make a wrong calculation. You make a wrong calculation thinking so that was right the right option to choose. Because you have a credit card bill now where I have to sit down and meditate over do it now because the interest them I go literally kill you. Because of debt, it literally I go kill you. And then now you now overstand say if you could you have different options of things to do. But then again, they mentioned the competing part, and the competing part is serious because normally you hear about competition and you wouldn't even really think about it being something where friends are do or where people in a relationship are do. Because you have right now all the things that you have relationship are compete against other relationship, you know. So if two people there right there, so the two of them, say 4 people there, so and that are 2 couple, they're married. The couple they want to outdo the couple, you know. That's really a go on right now, and especially amongst young people, you know. They want to outdo and show who have more love. So you see where we find, say, when time all a woman come around and them say, the woman ring small, them start say, wait, what kind of small ring that him give? Or him give him how much paycheck him did him miss for pay that? Him not miss no paycheck. I just want to look at one paycheck. Him never put on the money for the month to get the big diamond ring because something that with me, so with my own eyes, where people create big excitement about, you know. When I see a girl have a liquor ring and it all stone a bill, you have to use a microscope to see the stone and thing, and them say, wait, no, I'm not love you then because it's too small. So enough people start equate them type of thing then now. So now even the woman the way that pre like she love her man to a certain extent start questioning him now, you know. And the question where she go question him one time start lead to several questions that come after that, you know. And every time she start questioning him now, she start feel like him incompetent because he's not doing what John over there saw do. And John over there saw live to the standard, yeah. Then how come we all live so? Me the think so we all live good at first, but when she go home and realize, say, wait, what John not do this? So John just there so cook and a thing, cook on them something. What can I cook him do over here? So him never care about KFC yet. Yes, you see how the whole influence right after the top, the one question where the woman asks about how the rings so small. it start evolve over time, fire. Then it make all year one a woman start questioning, so so come now the spending habit, them the pressure start come on pan I have to say to yourself, say, no, but I not if you are, I know here it affect all the man pan the next side now. Him start say to himself, say, but say I true, man, I have to cook every day. I don't know, let me carry her out 2 times a week for go eat too little fast food and them thing. Then now him start live outside them means because him usually have a routine and him usually have a budget for cooking because him buy him grocery and them thing. Then now him have to find a next line item again, create a next line item for go deal with the fast food twice a week just to prove to him, man, say him love her. So you see how it affect all different parties, and then the next crazy part now is that people up on the outside that say, wait, but John a fool. But then the Overstand said John did already create a system. Him did already create a system where him rely upon him woman for have them have her as a soulmate, or him rely upon him woman for always be within him ecosystem. So now him no overstand the level, say him a go outside that means, him a more see it as him a keep and a maintain that person within him ecosystem. So while everybody else a call him fool, him a see it as being justified by him need to maintain that person within him ecosystem who him not say outside of him circle. So so it start affect whole heap of different parties, and then the stress start come down for everybody else, where even them amongst John's circle now, because John's stress when him come around them and it's the energy start affect them too. See so much different role it play. I tell you.
No, big time fire. There's two things you said I want to touch on, right? First thing is regards to how they disregard the man due to his economic situation, right? And like disregard the character and the spirit of the man because of his inability to earn what you think he should be earning. Comparing him to another person that earns more, not knowing what that person does to earn more, and not knowing that person's pursuit for more, what that turns that person into. I've seen it so many times. You may have a guy that's very loving and nurturing and caring, but he doesn't earn as much as the next person. And I'm not saying everyone who earns money is bad. I'm not saying that at all. But the reality is there's a lot of time and energy that goes into earning money, especially after you actually a certain salary. It's just the reality of it. And this is where women run into lower problems, is that they want this nurturing, supportive man, but what he has to do to earn that money changes his character and changes his spirit. Now you may get the money, but you're not gonna get that type of man. And I think that's what we don't understand. We don't understand how these occupations change our spirit. It's not the money. Or I'm gonna say it again, it's not the money. A lot of time money gets the bad rap. It's not the money. It's what's needed to get that money in that industry that turns the person into sometimes evil. I've been on that side of the fence, Farrakhan. What I had to do in a certain industry to thrive, kind of not a good. I won't even. I'll say I wasn't a good person. Yeah, I could say like I probably wasn't the best person because what I had to do to be successful in that, like the person that I am now, will get ate up in that environment because you're dealing with sharks. So a lot of the time, that's why this athlete thing a joke or actor thing a joke, because like they know what they're doing. They're not looking for nothing. This person has to be so locked in and focused on their craft. I don't got no time for you fighting. I don't want to see no kids or talk to nobody. That's just the reality of it. They experience it after they get beat up or they divorce. They may say it in public, but for the most part, they just smile and get the check. But they're not getting nothing else outside of that. And it has to be a balance because you need enough time to be there. When I say there, like actually there for your family and the child, and at the same time have enough energy to do work. But the more you're dealing with the work and earning, the less you're gonna have for that. Vice versa, the more you're putting into that, the less. Far as not, no, I don't know what these people are dealing with. It's a give and take. I think the best approach is to find an occupation and a life standard of living where you can be functional and cordial, and you know what I'm saying, to have a vibe, but everybody's chasing these things and not understanding what these things come with. Right, I know some people was a house bigger than Earth, yeah, right? The amount of time you have to spend to earn money to maintain the house, they never in the house. And when they is, they miserable and cranky, yeah. How you gonna have a vibe when you wake up all 5 in the morning? You're not getting back till all 10, 11. If you're getting back, if you just not, because some of these offices got places you can sleep there. I hope you know. Gym, shower, and everything. When you're when you're in that realm, people calling y'all midnight, 1 in the morning, email, and you have to respond by the way. So don't get it twisted. Don't think this not no Walmart where you gonna not respond, right? No, you have to respond. So it's like you want all these things, but what do they come with? That's the thing. People don't know what they come with. And after now, it's just like, here go, this will flop out most people now. Maintenance of the image. So after they experiencing that, they at death door, they crawling, depression kick in, substance kick in, therapist kick in. Why they will hold on to this image so much, right? They go hold on to this image till they drop dead, yeah. Man don't want to give up, or a woman, she don't want to give up that image. She don't want to give up the coming out the car and the bag and all the other accessories she got from TV. So everybody else gonna drop dead before they get that up, yeah. And that's what happened to most of them too. Most people forced out. They leave before they forced out. Forced out whether health take them, can't perform no more, they just break down. Very few people strong enough to leave and have sense to say, you know what, man, it's not for me, yeah. Then when you say it's not for me, society won't present you like you're weak or you're corny or a loser, but you have sense, right? It's not for me. There's nothing here to gain.
Present it like you give up, you know. That
Ah.
at them that are the thing, you know, it's like everything off a work. So I mean I know where them get the perfect world from, you know, like the whole perfect concept, it mash up a whole heap of thing, especially relationship, because yeah, you can at no given time, if you not satisfied to certain levels, you can make that be known say you're not satisfied to certain levels, because if you did in it in the first place, everything have to deal with the satisfaction of somebody else. And then that's what I said the finance thing tie into. And something very, very crucial to when we say on the flip side, I know that I mentioned it at the beginning, but whenever even talk about it, we talk about the man them where pressure the woman them on the flip side. Here me see the major pattern. I see it over the last 6, 7 years. Last 6, 7 years. So what I go on now is that a lot of the females them have the depression where they must suffer from, right? So they must suffer from a particular depression, or I go through some form of trauma. Like it's very high, very, very high, especially in this day and age. So the traumas them where them go up and them end up buck up on a man who seem like a comforter. I mean, I gotta say seem like a comforter, because the words them provide comfort them within the moment, so them get a hope and an aspiration of him maintaining that comfort. And then it forgot beyond words once them in a relationship, but him never end up live up to that. So it's almost like a blackmail then, whether I can't call it. So then basically a blackmail the female them in a sense where, all right, you can buy them thing, make sure some stay fresh, make sure some good to go, and me can ensure say you above the depression there, and me can go and look, and then it go up on the flip side where him go play upon what him do for her already. What him do for her and play upon the fact that she suffer from some form of depression or some form of trauma, and put her down to the level, you know, where she now try to spend to maintain that, knowing that she have the upper hand from the financial standpoint, and that is a really, 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 really thing we are going to this day.
I'm glad you brought that up, Fire, because a lot of times in mass media, the focus is on the man taking care of the woman and the woman exploiting the man, but not the man exploiting the women. Um, what this is just my observation. I'm not no expert. I've been married, so I've been out to the side, but this is my observation in the sense that um, due to the small number of men available, specifically black men, a lot of women just don't want to be lonely. And it seems like they're just paying for company because when you get to understand some of these relationships, some of these men not contribute much. So like me personally, right? Say I was like struggling financially or I was just like, yo, I would, make sure the kids right, cook, clean, or I would do something that they just kind of compensate for my failure to provide financially. But what I'm hearing is, right, and what I'm seeing Yo, you got men that's not working and they not doing nothing around the house, yo. So it's just like, what's going on here? The man don't work. He don't pick up no kids. He don't watch no kids. He don't cook. He don't clean. So it's like, why is this man around? You know, and like the sad truth is, a lot of men are aware of that and they just play the game. You know, because there's women out there that take care of them, like pay for everything for her. You know, and that's just the reality of the situation. You know, and I don't know, it is sad, but we don't, as a society, acknowledge my thing. This is just not a black thing. This is across cultures. I think this is, we just jump on this black thing like it's only black. This is men across the culture hustling. And they hustle because women allow it. Women pay for everything. Yeah, when the thing hit the fan, now they want kind of embarrass the man and say it. But like they've been paying for everything. And he hasn't contributed much. And I think a lot of it is just as you stated before, man. A lot of people just can't. They're not here for the loneliness thing. Then a lot of women too, man. They just want a presentable guy to go out in public, but most women don't even have that. That's the wildest thing. The package they paying for is flawed. Fire. It's not that you could take out in public and be proud of. That's the next reason, nonetheless. You know, but uh, in closing, unless you had something. Oh, fire! There's one more thing I did want to say. Let me say it real quick. You see what this NOLO thing? NOLO is YOLO or NOLO? YOLO, live your life.
Yeah, YOLO.
YOLO. Sorry.
YOLO.
YOLO, right? The thing is that the problem with the YOLO is the whole idea is surrounded by consumption. It's not really like live your best life in regards to like in the essence of maximizing your potential, you know, growing or conquering fears or conquering yourself. It's about mindless consumption. It's about spending. It's about some crazy activity. Like, you know, I remember I was talking to somebody and they were at the time they were I think they were like going to jump out of a plane or something, right? I said, Frank, I ain't jumping out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not jumping out of a plane. I don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need that type of uh pseudo excitement. Like, if I want something, like I'll like, you know, do a business or something, like something more, you know what I'm saying? Really like conquering a fear. You know, this that's the thing that they're hustling in the sense that like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing and it's just like this rush. But no, like that's not conquering a fear. I don't know what that is, you know, but or maybe I'm looking at it wrong. That's not how I would view conquering a fear. Let me say that. You know, conquering a fear is like really conquering yourself, conquering the insecurity and maximizing your potential. You know what I'm saying? And like that's but that YOLO thing is just around consumption. It's just buying and engaging in activities that actually detriment. I'm gonna drink all night. I'm gonna whore out myself. I'm just gonna take all the drugs I want because I don't know if I'm gonna be here tomorrow. And then the ones that live the longest, yo, you're suffering, yo, broke. That's the old joke about the thing, yeah. Mash down. You know, so but anyone listening, hopefully you made it to the end. Hopefully you ain't get offended and cut it off. I know we hear truth now, yeah. Well, we hear this. But the reality is, check it. Whether spouse or friend, don't let nobody pressure you to spend no money, yo. You sit down. Fire, I'm gonna do one little financial literacy thing on a Sunday too, yeah, because I'm just gonna do a little free live thing or something, so we'll figure it out. But get your budget, stick to your budget. Don't let nobody deter you from that, because the thing is, nobody out here gonna help you pay the bills, Whatever you put on that credit card, nobody not gonna help you put it on unless you luck out and find somebody that's gonna take care of you. You know, the friends you trying to impress. Listen, if they going somewhere and you do the math in that restaurant too expensive, it's all good. Stay in your house and watch a movie, keep it moving and grooving now. And when you can afford to do it now, fully enjoy yourself. But you have to be truthful with yourself. There's things now they're not in the budget, so I'm not doing it. If I were to earn more, yeah, if I were to earn more money, I would do it. But like, no, I'm not doing it because it's not in the budget. It is what it is. Life goes on. Because my credit score, you get what I'm saying, and the little things I got going on is way more important than whatever thing they trying to do or whatever thing that's going on. Don't let nobody pressure you to spend money that you don't have. Give thanks for everyone tuning in from those times. Make sure you check out brand new video from the one Autarchii as the water flows. Stepper style, link in the description there. Make sure you check out EP, Disrupting the Status Quo. Also, make sure you check us out, iNeverKnewTV.com. And every Sunday, we're spinning Roots Rock Reggae on I Never Knew Radio on WLOI.org.